Hi friends, welcome to CA TaxMed classes. Myself CA Naganan. Today we will discuss about CA Intermediate paper number 3 taxation. It is applicable May 25 onwards. Here we study taxation, we simplify the taxation, study together and succeed together. As we all know, CA Intermediate has 6 papers. 6 papers. In that group 1 has 3 papers, group 2 has 3 papers. In that group 1, paper number 3, it is taxation. Taxation will come for 100 marks. In that part A, part B. Part A, income tax will come for 50 marks. Part B, goods and service tax will come for 50 marks. And Institute has designed income tax in 9 chapters. First one is basic concepts. Second chapter is residential status and scope of total income. Third chapter is heads of income. Fourth chapter income of other person included in assessor's total income. Fifth chapter aggregation of income, set off and carry forward, commonly known as clubbing of income. Sixth chapter deduction from gross total income. Seventh chapter advance tax, tax deduction at source and tax collection at source, commonly known as TDS and TCS. Eighth chapter provisions for filing return of income and self-assessment. Ninth chapter is income tax liability, computation and optimization. This ninth chapter will come for 15 marks in part A of your paper number 3. Let's start with the first chapter, that is basic concepts. Basic concepts of income tax. This chapter has 6 parts. First one is introduction to income tax. Second chapter important definitions. Third topic charge of income tax. Fourth one types of income. Fifth rate of tax, surcharge, cess. Last one is illustrations or question and answer. After completing all 5 units, we will come to the question and answer. Now, introduction to the income tax laws in India. Income tax laws is introduced to entry number 82 of Indian list. List 1 in 7th schedule of Article 246 of the Constitution has given power to Parliament to make laws on taxes on income other than agricultural income. The Parliament of India has power to make laws on income and collect the taxes, but Parliament cannot make any laws and collect taxes on agricultural income. Let's begin with understanding the meaning of tax. What is tax? Taxes are considered to be the cost of living in a society. Taxes are levied by the governments to meet the common welfare expenditure of the society. Taxes are the main source of income to the government. So, some taxes will be levied by the state government, some taxes will be levied by the central government. There are two types of taxes. First one is direct taxes. Second one is indirect taxes. What is direct taxes? If a tax is levied directly on income or wealth of a person, then it is called as a direct tax. A person who pays the tax to the government cannot recover it from somebody else. The burden of the direct tax cannot be shifted. For example, if you are earning a salary income and you are paying taxes on your salary income to the government, it means your salary income, you have received the salary and you are paying the taxes to the government directly. It is one of the example of direct taxes. What is indirect taxes? If taxes are levied on the price of the goods or services, then it is indirect taxes. Goods and service tax and custom duty are the examples of the indirect taxes. In case of indirect taxes, person paying the tax passes on the incidence to other person. We will understand with an example. If you buy any goods or receive any services, the shopkeeper or the service provider will collect GST from the customer, and this GST he will remit to the government. In here, customer is paying GST amount to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper will pay the GST amount to the government. Customer is not directly paying to the government. So the shopkeeper, as we read here, in this case indirect taxes, person paying the taxes passes on the incidence to the another person. The shopkeeper paying the GST to the government passes on to the customer. Ultimate GST is paid by the customer, but customer is not directly paying to the government. Shopkeeper is paying to the government. This is an example of indirect taxes. Now let's understand the income tax and components of income tax. Income tax is mainly has 5 components. First one is Income Tax Act, second one Annual Finance Act, Income Tax Rules, Circulars and Notification, Legal Decision of the Court. First one, Income Tax Act 1961. The levy of income tax in India is governed by Income Tax Act 1961. In this material, we shall briefly refer this as an act. This act extends to the whole of India. This act came into force from 1st April 1962. When any act will come in the form of bill, when the bill is approved in both the houses of the parliament and president is approved that one, then it became the act. It consists of 1 to 298 sections and schedules 1 to 14 schedules. It undergoes every year, changes every year by Annual Finance Act passed by the Parliament. If any changes or any amendment to be made to the Income Tax Act, it will be done in the Annual Finance Act and other legislation like Taxation Laws Amendment Act. Now understand what is Finance Act. Every year, Finance Minister of Government of India introduced the Finance Bill in the Parliament budget session. When the Finance Bill is passed by both the houses, the Parliament, both the houses of the Parliament, and it get assent of the President, it became the Finance Act. Until it is only a Finance Bill. Once it got passed in both the houses of the Parliament and assent of President, it became the Finance Act. New provisions inserted, existing provisions are substituted and amended every year in the Income Tax Act 1961 and other tax laws by the Finance Act. The main purpose of Finance Act is any changes in Income Tax Act 1961 to be made, amendment, change in the rate of taxes or any new provisions, new sections to be added, it will be presented in the form of Finance Bill in the Parliament. Once it is passed in the Parliament, then it becomes the Finance Act. Then it is applicable. What is Income Tax Rules 1962? The administration of the direct taxes is looked after by Central Board of Direct Taxes, commonly known as CBDT. CBDT is empowered to make rules for carrying out purpose of the act. For proper administration of the Income Tax Act 1961, the CBDT frames rules from time to time. These rules are collectively called as Income Tax Rules 1962. In Income Tax Act, it will, as per the section, it will tell some form to be filed, due dates are given, what form in that, when it is to be filed, how it is to be filed, regarding filing of that file. That rules are made by CBDT. Third one is circulars and notifications. What is circulars? Circulars are issued by CBDT from time to time to deal with the certain specific problems and clarify doubts regarding the scope and meaning of certain provisions of the act. And sometimes while reading Income Tax Act, the interpretation of the act may be done differently by the assessees and the department. To clarify the doubt and solve the issue, the CBDT may issue circulars time to time. The circulars are issued by the CBDT. The department is bound by the circulars. While such circulars are not binding on assessees, in case of circulars, the department is bound to follow the circulars. In case of assessees, if it is beneficial to the assessee, then only he can follow the circulars. He is not bound by circulars. Notifications. Notifications are also issued by the central government, giving effect to the provisions of the Act. The CBDT also empowered to make, amend rules for purpose of Act by issuing the notification, which is binding on the department and assessees. In case of circulars, it's binding on the department, not on the assessees. In case of notification, it is binding on both department and assessees. Fifth one is legal decisions of the court. The study of case laws is important and unavoidable part of the study of income tax laws. It is not possible for Parliament to convey and provide for all possible issues that may arise in the implementation of the Act. Hence, the judiciary will hear the dispute between the assessee and the department and give the decisions on the various issues. As we all know, the interpretation of the Income Tax Act can be done by differently by the assessees and the department. There may be some dispute between the department and assessees. All disputes arising in future or everything cannot be covered in Income Tax Act. So the legal decisions given by the court are also forms part of the income tax laws. The Supreme Court is the apex court of the country, and the law laid down by the Supreme Court is law of the land. The decision given by the various high courts will apply respective states in which the High Court has a jurisdiction. The decision given by the Supreme Court is applicable to whole of the India, and the decisions given by the High Court is applicable to the respective states and where the High Court has the jurisdiction. This is the first part of the basic concepts. We will come with the next video with the second basic concepts regarding important definitions. Then, thank you.